A good night of Shabbos. Since this Shabbos, we recount the story of the Decalogue, the giving of the 10 Commandments a second time, that the Torah was given to the people of Israel on Mount Sinai in front of everyone, was verbatim transmitted to Moses, who wrote it down from God's instruction. So many of us, when we look at the second discussion of the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments, if you will, see that there's different words used in the second version than in the first. And the rabbis tell us both versions came at the same time. In the first version, it said Shomor es Yom HaShabbos. The second version, it said Zocher es Yom HaShabbos, remember the Sabbath. And the rabbis tell us, Shomer v'Zocher b'dibur echad nemru. It said, God said Shomer and Zocher at one time. And in order to be able to identify this for us, the Decalogue was repeated with the second language that was said together the first time. The question is, why was there a different version written in the Torah in Parshas V'Eschanan, in the book of Deuteronomy, different from the version at the first time? Why is it necessary? Why it's necessary, I don't know. But one thing is clear, and this is where I want to bring your attention to. The Torah is unlike any other document. It's been proven that the Torah is unlike any other document that exists in the world. All the letters of the Torah, the Decalogue, together with the story of creation, all together have 613 words within them. The number of mitzvahs is 613. There's 620 letters in the Decalogue. That stands for 613 commandments and 7 rabbinic commandments, equal to 620. The Torah says, and God said all of these words, lemor. Why does it say lemor? Lemor means that all the words that in the future were to be said to the prophets were already said to Moses. That the prophecies of Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel all are based upon the words of the Torah and expanded thereof. Even though they talk about different subjects and different times, when Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Samuel, and the other prophets, Elijah, Elisha, when they spoke prophecy, their prophecy was based upon a verse in the Torah. So all of the prophecies were stated at the time of the Decalogue, in the Decalogue. The letters of the Torah are exact and precise in precise order because the whole world and every person and every event that's going to happen and happened and happening now in this world finds their mention in the 600,000, actually 304,805 letters of the Torah. This has been shown many times, but I want to bring your attention that when the AIDS epidemic came out, I looked for a hint for AIDS in the Torah, and I found it in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, because they tried to sodomize. That's where the word comes from, sodomy. They try to sodomize the angels because they look like men. And this was considered a grave sin by God Almighty. And no, I'm not a homophobe. God just says it's not the way to go. And control yourself. And even if you like a girl married to somebody else, control yourself. And even if you love each other, control yourself. She's not yours. She belongs to somebody else. Same thing is true with homosexuality. Control yourself. So the AIDS virus came primarily, initially, to people who were homosexual. And the hint for the AIDS virus is found in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And there's a letter that Lot is warned by the angel. He says, listen, take your wife and your daughters. When you say take your wife and then take your daughters, it's a hint for taking them sexually. Later on, because the girls think that the world's coming to an end, they have relations with their father. His wife, of course, dies in the conflagration, the destruction of Sodom. So the angel is telling him, listen, take your wife. And if you're a pervert, take your daughters. But get out of the city, lest you will be consumed, pentisafeh ba'avon ha'ir, lest you be consumed by the sin of the city. Tisafeh, which means to be consumed, it's an unusual word. It has a dagesh, it has a stress in the samach, which is an S for those Anglophiles outside. And I checked, I then went backwards, since AIDS, I actually went forward, but AIDS is written in the Torah in 33-letter increments from that samach. Afterwards, you'll get 33 letters, you get a dollar. 33 letters afterwards, you get a yud. And 33 letters, you get an aleph, or AIDS, AIDS. Why 33 letters? Because the word 33 is gal, which is the word that means uncovering something inappropriate. So when you uncover something inappropriate, the result will be AIDS. And that's the consumption of the sin of the city. Amazing that the Torah predicts this 3,400 years before these things happen. And this happens over and over again. The Torah is not a document that is an old historical document, an old law book. The Torah is a living piece of wisdom that reflects what's going on in the world. And it's put together like the DNA, like the chromosomes, the picture of all the cosmos for all times in the Torah.